In this video, I'll show you how to pave EziSet using EziSet pliers. I invented this tool to help students who struggled with setting small stones or using gravers, and as you'll see, they are so easy to use. This is a sample of some other settings you can do with the pliers. I'll put a link to the pliers in the description. For this setting, I'm going to use a 10mm wide brass ring blank and 2.25mm CZs. So the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a right angled line across the blank and just mark the halfway mark. So you should be able to do that by eye, but if not, just get your ruler out and just check. So that is going to be where the center stone is going to go, and we've got a CZ here. So you need a decent pair of dividers to do this. So what we want to do is just measure the width or the diameter of the stone. So a good way of doing this is just to tighten your dividers and pick the stone up, and you know that that is absolutely spot on, the right diameter, but we want to open it out a little bit. We need a little bit of room for the setting, so I'm just opening it out a fraction so that my dividers won't pick the stone up. There's just a little bit of wobble room there. So with that marking, what you can do is just put a mark on the straight line, the right angle line, and then you can mark away from that point, just mark from the center and from the outer stone marking. Do that again for the next one, so you should have a little cross going on like that, and we'll do that on the other side as well, and that will give you your 6 outer stones. So you can either just use your scribe, or you can use a very fine ball burr, and this will help to steady the drill. So drill through with a drill that's around about 1mm. My rule of thumb is generally a drill around about half the size of the stone that you're using. So you can go through with a 1mm drill and then open it out with a 1.2. This ball burr is 1.9mm, so anything around 2mm, but certainly no more than 2.1mm. And again, I'm just allowing the ball burr to go into the setting a good halfway in, so the ball is in thus far. Now, because I'm using a 2.25mm stone, I need to find a setting burr that's this shape with the straight sides here. I need to find one that's exactly the right size. Now, the packet I picked this out of was 2.25, but you always measure your burrs, and because that will give you the accurate reading, and twist it around like so, so you get the maximum reading for it, and you can see that it doesn't quite make 2.25. Nonetheless, I'm still going to use it, but it just means I've got to whirl it around once it's in the setting. and that's quite normal, so it's not worth complaining to your supplier. That's just the way burrs are. So always measure them, don't just rely on what the packet says. So I'm taking the burr in so that half the straight part of the burr is inside the setting, like that. And I'll do that with all of them, and then I'm going to go back around and whirl my burr. And then I'm going to just go over with a buff stick just to clear off all the flashing, and then pop the stones in and do any extra cut work if need be. So it should be like that. So that's perfectly positioned. You can see that it's almost flat with the surface of the metal. You should just see the table, but only just. I'm going to put 4 facets on this tip, but the first thing I'll do is just take the very point off. Like so. I'm using a fine diamond disc to do this. It's a very easy way of cutting these burnishing tips. Now I'll just show you the angle. The natural angle of these tips is like so, but I'm just going to turn the angle so that it is, so from there that's 90 degrees and that is 45 degrees. So it's going to be a 45 degree angle, and it should look like that. Go to the opposite side, which is sometimes easier to say than do, but if you look directly down on the tip you should be able to see when it is the right angle. And we want those 2 sides to meet up to make a sharp blade. And once you've done that, you can do the other 2 sides, so make sure you get the angles correct. And up again to the halfway mark, turn it, and now looking for a fine point. Okay, now I'm just got to clean the tool marks off that, make it as shiny as possible. This is the Adenta medium grit, so that's a blue colour. So I'll finish off using that. And again, you just got to make sure that you get the correct angle. And that will get it to a really nice high polish. So I'll give you a chance to have a look at the shape of the tip. So that's it. So hopefully you can copy that as close as possible, and that'll give nice faceted impressions. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go on the outer side of the setting, so I'll leave this bit here, but I'll start with just the in-between bit. So you can feel for the edge of the setting and then just come back off and give it a little bit of a squeeze. It won't need much. And I'll do that all the way around. Going in the one direction. And now I'll go the other side and go around the other way. Might be a little bit tight in some areas. Try and point your tool towards the stone, so angle it towards the stone wherever you can. And you can see that I'm going more on the inside of the setting as well. So we're going to fill in all these blanks, but I just want to secure the stones first of all, so that when I move the setting around, they're not going to wobble out. Now some of these areas between the stones, just here, they're pretty thin, so just be careful that you don't just press the tool on the stone. So just find that point, the bridging point there, and if you're not too sure, then just give it a very slight squeeze, come away from it, and then check to make sure that it is in the right position. So I'm just feeling the area there, just giving it a slight squeeze. I'm pretty sure that the stones are secured at this stage, so I'm only looking to fill in the blanks and give it that nice bright cut finish wherever I can. I'm just doing the centre one now as well. So I'm just filling in as many empty areas as possible, even if it is the slightest of touches with the point of the tip. But the most important thing is not to break the circular or floral pattern, so you don't want any random impressions outside this pattern. So you could leave it like that, it looks pretty good, but I've got a better way of finishing it, and if you've had practice with your EziSet pliers and you've already done gypsy setting, then have a go at this. So the tip I use for the gypsy setting is basically what you get, the pointy tip, but you just take off the very sharpness, the very end of it, and just sand it off, round it off so that it's not scratchy, and give it a polish, and that's what it should look like, a bit like a pen nib. And all you do then is you just find that inner edge of the setting and rub around like so, and it leaves a really nice polished finish. And do that all the way around. Fine, going to the left of the setting is a little bit trickier, just working away from yourself like so, but like I say, a bit of practice and you will get there. And that is it, and as I do with all my EziSet demonstrations, I have a good poke of the setting underneath just to make sure that they're fully secure. And if any come out, it's embarrassing, but it's not happened yet. The pliers are superb for securing stones, and as you can see, you can even do a cluster like this. If If you want to learn other techniques, then check out the full course that includes settings like these.